Boyz II Men is one of the most popular boy band of the 90s. They got 4 Grammy Awards, 9 American Music Awards, 9 Soul Train Awards, 3 Billboard Awards, and a Mobo Award for outstanding contribution to music. They had multiple platinum albums. In the 2000s, their success declined and Mike left the group. Mike was the one with a sexy bass in his voice. They were a very talented group who sung with emotion, especially Wanye. He could make you feel the music down in your toes. Awesome group. Nathan Morris and his classmate, Mark Nelson, would sing in class, and they both got kicked out of class. They became best friends and formed a number of singing groups. Sean Stockman and Wanya Morris teamed up with them in the 80s to form the group Unique Attraction. They sang on the street corners, but their favorite place to sing was the boys' restroom at school because it gave them a great acoustic for their vocals. One day they were singing New Edition song Can You Stand the Rain, and Mike McCary walked in. Mike said to the Washington Post that he started singing with them. They were impressed with the bass in his voice and they asked him to join the group, and Mike agreed to join. Sean and Nate was talking one day about changing their name, Unique Attraction. New Edition's song, Boys to Men, started playing on the radio, and Sean thought it would be a good name for their group. Michael Givens, a former member of New Edition, was to host a radio show in Philly. They wanted someone to hear them sing. They got backstage passes and went to see Michael Bivens. They gave an impromptu performance and received a standing ovation. Michael wanted to go into music management in the future, and he gave Nathan the phone number for the hotel that he was staying in Los Angeles. Nathan told Rolling Stone that he blew up Michael's phone every day. Michael said he was called every day for 3 weeks, and he said, "This is a little crazy." Michael said when it got to 2.5 weeks, he said, "Can I ask you a question? What do you want?" And he asked Michael if he would be their manager. One of the group members, Mark, was offered a solo deal with Capitol Records. He didn't want to leave his friends, so he told the label to sign Boyz II Men as a package deal. The label refused. They only wanted Mark. At some point, Mike agreed to manage them. Mark said his manager wouldn't release him from his contract so he could join Michael Bivens' management company. Left with no choice, Mark dropped out of Boyz II Men and signed with Capitol Records as a solo artist. He later became a member of the group As Yet. Boyz II Men would sign to Motown Records as a quartet. Michael Bivens wanted them to look different. He had them dressing preppy in shorts, cardigan, and bow ties. He called the look Alexander Vanderpool from the Alfred Vanderpool character in the soap opera All My Children. Nathan Morris would use Alex Vanderpool as his nickname. Wanye would get the nickname Squirt. Michael was known as Bass, and Sean would be called Slim. They teamed up with a producer, Dallas Austin, to begin recording their upcoming album, Cooley High Harmony. The title of the album was a tribute to a real high school in Chicago, Cooley Vocational High School. The album was written mainly by Boyz II Men members. The singles from the album was Motown Philly, It's Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, Ooh Ah, Please Don't Let Go, End of the Road, and In the Still of the Night, I'll Remember. Those are great songs that landed them on the top of the charts. It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday always broke my heart whenever I heard it. Their debut album was released in 1991. The album would peak at number 3 on the Billboard 200. The album would reach platinum success. On the album cover, all of them posed with a cane in their hand. Wanye would tell the Chicago Tribune Michael Bivens would eventually take the cane from 3 of them, but he let Mike keep the cane to be cool. Boyz II Men won a Grammy Award for their first album, Cooley High Harmony, in 1992. The award was for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals. In 1992, they went on MC Hammer's Too Legit to Quit tour along with Jodeci. After they stopped in Chicago, Roderick, Khalil, Roundtree, the tour manager for Boyz II Men, was awakened by someone banging on his hotel room door. He called out to his assistant, Quadre El Amin, for help so they could escort the men to the hotel security. The five men entered an elevator where a struggle took place. There was a weapon. The assistant Quadre had a gunshot wound to the knee. Roderick had multiple gunshot wounds and was pronounced deceased. Boyz II Men took 2 weeks off from the tour to grieve. They attended the funeral and paid condolences to Roderick's family. Boyz II Men said in a statement that Khalil was more than just our tour manager. He was a father figure and friend to us. MC Hammer said in a statement that he was shocked and outraged at the violence and hoped that those responsible were found quickly. Two of the suspects were acquitted due to insufficient evidence. The third suspect was found guilty of second-degree murder and aggravated battery with a firearm. He was sentenced to two 14-year sentences. Michael Givens and Boyz II Men would part ways, and they hired their assistant road manager, Quadre El Amin, and John Dukakis to manage them. They released the album Christmas Interpretations in 1993. Motown hired the hit songwriter Babyface to work with them. Dallas Austin did an interview with Vlad TV. He said he was called to work with them again on their second album, but after experiencing success on the road, Dallas said their attitude changed. They allegedly went into the studio with egos and bragged about their Rolexes and wealth, and it rubbed Dallas the wrong way. He said they were disrespectful to Babyface after Babyface brought them the song I'll Make Love to You. Dallas said they reportedly told Babyface that the song was horrible and they didn't need his help to make a smash hit. Allegedly. Their label exec allegedly got them on the phone and told them to do the track, and they agreed. Nathan responded to Dallas' interview. He responded in a tweet saying his interview with Vlad were lies. That song, I'll Make Love to You, was a major hit. It spent 14 weeks at number one. It was then replaced by their next single, On Bended Knee, making the group the third artist to replace themselves at number one. That album, too, was more successful than their first one. It sold 12 million copies. It was one of the biggest albums of the decade. Mike McCary was going through challenging times with his health. He said on the Ayanla Fix My Life that he was having back spasms while performing that he attributed to scoliosis. He kept his issue away from his bandmates. By the age of 22, his symptoms worsened dramatically. That cane ended up being necessary for Mike. Mike was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Motown allegedly released an album called The Remix Collection in 1995 without the group's consent, which led to a strain in their relationship. That act was a big factor in their decision to leave Motown. They finished one more album with Motown, the 1997 Evolution, that went platinum. After leaving Motown, they would sign a distribution deal with Sony Records, which led to them forming their own label, Stone Creek. In 2002, the Boyz II Men album Full Circle went gold but was considered a commercial flop. It failed to match the commercial success of their previous album. Mike had to take more time off to go to doctor's appointments. He was missing rehearsals and shows due to his illness. Mike admitted that he went into a deep depression. Sean told Fox Soul that they tried to accommodate Mike by giving him a stool to sit on during performances. He said they still paid Mike a salary after he stopped answering their phone calls. Mike eventually left the band in 2003 after more than 2 decades performing together. Doctors told him aggravating a locked nerve in his back could potentially leave him paralyzed, according to Mike. Ayanla asked him to sum up what he took away from his time with Boyz II Men, and he said betrayal, a broken bond. Mike had returned to Philadelphia and opened a soul food restaurant called Majestic Ribs with his then wife Venus. Him and his wife later separated. Mike told Ayanla that he got to a point where he wanted to choke her, so he knew he had to leave. She filed for divorce in May 2007. At the time he did the Ayanla episode in 2016, he said he had not seen his kids in 7 years, his three kids. He said he wasn't a father anymore, just a man with kids. He said he and his kids were talking daily while his ex wife was at work, and when she found out, she disconnected the telephones. Hmm. At the time, Ayanla asked him, "How long has it been since he spoke to his kids?" He said, 4.5 years. He was sobbing. You could sense his pain. I hope that by now Michael will be in touch with his children again. In 2012, Boyz II Men received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Michael came to the ceremony. That year, Mike asked if he can return to the group. Sean said to the HuffPost they were willing to take him back if he signed a contract that would protect the three of them if he left the group again. Allegedly, Michael was not willing to sign a contract. Nate told the HuffPost that because he left them hanging so many times, they had to cover what they had been doing the last 9 years he wasn't there. He allegedly told the story where it seemed like Michael was back on board, then rescinded because he wouldn't be a full fourth member. When Mike called the group to tell his frustrations, they basically hung up on him and continued making their album as a trio. Mike has a unique voice. Sean Stockman told host Mark Hill that nobody outside of Melvin Franklin from The Temptations actually spoke the way that he sang. He said Mike was a true bass. Boyz II Men was an amazing group. I don't think it's the same without Mike, so I hope they can get back together and work it out. MS is a very difficult illness that I don't wish on anyone. I hope Mike is doing a lot better. I hope the group reaches out to him and do whatever they can to assist Mike in this time. Talk to y'all later.